Okay, so I've washed my hands. I'm going to go ahead and get the pork ready for marinade. Now, the recipe says to marinate it overnight, but I'll be honest, I'm not going to do that now because I don't really want to wait and cook these tomorrow. We did have a really late lunch, so I think we'll be fine to eat these more in a couple of hours. But I don't want to wait till tomorrow. Alright, so got those in the pan. I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands up. Someone in the comments said that it was pretty mustardy with this measurement, so they said you could half it with mayonnaise. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This I am going to measure. It's actually a little bit more than half, but come on, Dijon. Okay. The rest of the stuff, I'm just gonna eyeball it. Okay. Calls for 3 tablespoons of olive oil, half teaspoon of kosher salt. I like to just use garlic salt. And again, I'm just going to give it a little shake. Half teaspoon of black pepper. Three-fourths teaspoon garlic powder. Three-fourths teaspoon of thyme. Half a teaspoon of onion powder. Oops, well, that'll work. So I'm going to put a little bit more in there. I like my stuff well seasoned, I will admit it. Oregano, half a teaspoon. Basil, half a teaspoon. And there we go. So let's mix this up. Sorry, my phone's going off there. So even with the mayonnaise, it still looks pretty yellow and mustardy. And then we're just gonna pour it over and try and spread it around the meat. And I'll probably end up doing some of this with my fingers, I think. Because I just want to make sure everything kind of gets coated a little bit. Oh yeah. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator and then I'll pull it out in a few hours and show you the next step. Okay guys, so I have the oven preheating to 400. I put a little drying rack on the cookie sheets lined in foil for easy cleanup. I have a pie pan here with Parmesan cheese, and then we have the chicken that's been marinating. And it's been marinating for about 2 hours or so. And the recipe says to just dip the pork chops in the Parmesan cheese and put on a baking sheet. So the recipe says to season with additional salt and pepper. I'm gonna do a little bit of pepper, but I'm not gonna do any more salt in this case because there's salt in the Parmesan and I put some garlic salt in there, so I don't want to overdo it with the salt. But okay, so I'm gonna clean this up, put these in the oven at 400 once it's preheated for about 15 to 20 minutes. So I recorded and it didn't get it. So I'm going to cook up a package of broccoli slaw. Just stir fry it in a pan to have as a side dish to go with our pork. Just adding some garlic powder. And then gonna do some pepper. And then a little bit of garlic salt. Dan said he used to cook this when he was a bachelor. I haven't really cooked this before or had it as a side dish, but thought I'd give it a try. And then the pork should be out in just a couple minutes. You may be wondering what this is. This is just frozen raspberries with a little bit of truvia, a little bit of vanilla that was cooked down on the stovetop, and it's still too hot to put in the fridge, but I'm going to put that in the refrigerator. And I made a low-carb cheesecake that we're going to top with that. And yeah, if the cheesecake turns out good, then I will do a video on that in the future. So here's the broccoli slaw. Pretty well cooked down, so I'm going to turn off the heat. Again, I don't know how this is going to taste, but when we have our taste test, we'll see. Okay, so all right, welcome to our table. And yeah, so we're gonna give this a try. We have broccoli slaw that was stir fried, and then pork chops that have Parmesan mustard sauce. Well, not a sauce, more of a coating, really.
Demi-glaze.
Not quite.
Soft. Good.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Good.
I've never really cooked pork chops much, but yeah, it's fine. I don't think it's overly mustardy. Do you? Seems pretty simple. Do you want to try the broccoli slaw? I've never cooked it this way. I just kind of stir fried it in butter.
Good. I've never had it quite this mushy.
Really? I wasn't sure how long to cook it. Alright, so let us know if you end up trying this recipe and what you think of it. And thanks for watching.
It's good.